the next video here, we're going to look at two examples of using substitution, which is an algebraic form. All right, that's algebraic. It's an algebraic way of solving a system of equations. Now, the way substitution works is you always solve for one variable in one of the equations. That's it. You pick one equation and you solve for one of the variables. Now, when you do that, pick wisely. Pick a variable that hopefully doesn't have a coefficient other than 1, and then pick the equation that it's going to look a little nicer. So when you look at number 9, right, I would say, oh, look at this. Y is already solved for itself here in this top equation. So sometimes it's done for you. And when that's the case, that's awesome. All right, and so once that's done, your next step is you are going to substitute in for that variable in the other equation. So you're going to take the equation that you didn't use. So in this case, I'm going to take this equation, and then I'm going to substitute in for y. So wherever I see y, which is right here, I'm going to put this in place of it. So I'm going to rewrite that, and I'm going to go 2x plus x plus 4 equals 16. So all I did is I just picked this up right here. I said, okay, well, I know that y equals x plus 4, so instead of writing y, I'm going to write x plus 4. Because there are two ways of writing the same thing. They're equivalent expressions. And so then I'll put that in this equation. And what that does is that gets rid of one of the variables entirely. And then you just solve for the variable that you have left. All right, so substitute in, and then we'll say solve for remaining variable. All right, so let's do that. So you get 2x. Let's drop our parentheses, and then add these up. 2x and x make 3x plus 4 equals 12 or 16. I'm getting ahead of myself. Subtract 4, and then you get 3x equals 12, and therefore x is equal to 4. Divide them both by 3. All right, so once you get that, then the last step is you take your x value, or whichever value you solve for, and you plug that into one of the other equations, and it doesn't really matter which one. And then you find the other variable. So solve for the remaining variable, right, and then find the other value, all right, of variable. So that would be the other variable. All right, hopefully that makes some sense to you guys. So let's take this top equation where we got y equals x plus 4, and let's go y equals 4 plus 4. And all I did is I substituted in this 4 right here for x right here. Okay, so y equals 4 plus 4. You got y equals 8. And then that means my solution is the point 4, 8. All right, and if I take this and I take this point and I put it in this equation, this other equation right down here, it should give me an equality, an identity. So 2 times 4 is, multiplying 4 because 4 is my x. It's 8 plus, and then my y is 8. So 8 plus 8 is 16 on this side, and it's supposed to be 16. So yeah, it works out. That's what we're after. All right, let's do one more. Okay, so this problem right here, we have a situation where we haven't solved, there isn't one of the variables that's solved for. So we get to pick. We get to pick which variable are we going to solve for. So let's take this bottom equation right here, and then let's solve for x. All right, so let's do that first of all. So that would be a first step. So you have x minus y equals 8. If you solve for x, you're going to add y to both sides. And then that's just going to give you x equals y plus 8. And I picked that one because I knew when I moved y to the other side, it would make it positive. And I like positive things. So now I've got an equation that says x equals y plus 8. So what I'm going to do is I am going to substitute in for x in the other equation. In other words, the equation I didn't use, all right, yet. So we're going to take this y plus 8, and we're going to substitute it in for x. This is our x right here, so we're going to have y plus 8, and then plus y equals 6. Okay, so now let's do some adding. So 2y, I collect like terms, plus 8 equals 6. Subtract 8. Then you get 2y equals negative 2, and then you're going to divide by 2, and you're going to get y equals negative 1. All right, so I've solved for one of the variables. Now what I'm going to do is I can pick either equation, and I'm going to substitute negative 1 in for y to find x. So we have x plus negative 1. I'm going to use the top equation here. Use this one. Equals 6. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. All right, and that gets rid of that. You get 7. X equals 7. So that means my solution, if I did this right, is the point 7, negative 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the other equation that I didn't use to find the second variable, right? So I'm going to use this one right here. And I'm going to put my numbers in. So we have 7 minus, and then y is negative 1, equals 8. Well, this is a double negative, so you get 7 plus 1 equals 8. And you get 8 equals 8. And you have an identity, which is what you want. And we have solved the system. And in both of these cases, they were consistent and independent because they had one solution. Okay? All right, I'm going to stop the video here, and then next video or two is going to be on elimination.